2016 Hot 6 GSL Season 2 Code S.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the GSL Code S with Tastes and Artosis. We're going on into day 2. A lot of Protosses here today, Artie.
Yes, indeed. But how many will make it out tonight, Tasteless? Kier is also here.
We know at least one of them will.
And he's a badass. Wouldn't that be funny? No Protosses
no
make it out.
This is going to be an interesting night tonight. We're going to have a lot of PvPs for you guys. If you're somebody who wanted to learn about PvP, this is the night to tune in and watch. We got 3 different Protosses, 3 different playstyles.
And you see already last Wednesday, or Wednesday, I guess, right? That was 2 days ago, so last Wednesday doesn't really make a whole lot of sense unless it was a new Wednesday today. But anyways, we had Gumiho and Zescat. Gumiho actually in first place. That was a great group, guys. Yeah, a lot of upsets, near upsets, stuff like that. Very good group overall. I really enjoyed pretty much every single series there, so you guys might want to check that out.
I think today might actually even be better. We'll have to see. Today is a tougher one to call for who gets out.
It's kind of tough.
Stats, everybody says shook it up, but PvP is a little bit weird.
It definitely can be.
PvP can turn on its head pretty easily. And Hero and Yunchik are guys with kind of odd play styles out there as well.
It looks like basically Stats and Kier are the 2 players you look at, you're like, okay, these are the 2 best players in the group, but Myungshik is like an upset king because he's such a different player and a very confident player at that. And Hero is someone who is not really one of the top 32 players in the world. He kind of snuck into here by beating Pet.
He's always good enough, it seems like, to sneak into
something like that.
In the year 2016, Hero's not the guy you point to and say, study this guy to get better products. At the same time, though, he's got a weird play style, and he can definitely take games off people.
He can.
Especially in the PvP. I think if he gets in the late game, he's not as strong.
No, I would definitely agree with that. That's always been his MO, too. He's like very good at micro and stuff like that. I wonder how much he's improved since his Code A match, because if he shows the same level as a Code A match, he's gonna go 0-4 and drop out of the group. Like, it doesn't even matter what builds he does. Like, he can go Phoenix vs. Oracle all day and he's not gonna win matches. But you know, he's had a long time to prepare, and he used to be such a strong player. So he could be bringing like some much better players.
Camera on the bottom side of the screen here?
No, I had no idea.
I feel like we should be doing sign language.
I actually have my water bottle in front of
this for the deaf viewers.
Wow. Oh, that's kind of
weird.
I was like picking my nose and stuff. I like just stand there giving the finger to the camera when I'm not on it. It's just like a game I play by myself.
Yeah.
It's like we should have actually just been looking up the whole time at Yuri, like talking up to her. That would be really good.
Should be like a giant for like these little guys, these little homunculi running around at the bottom of the screen.
Alright, so recent 5 matches is kind of an interesting thing that they're doing. Stats and Myungshik haven't done that well. I guess this is maybe for GSL, because Stats definitely did pretty well recently.
Yeah.
You know, obviously getting 2nd place in SSL last season. Hero, the Hero formerly known as Liquid. This guy, of course, has multiple championships. Very strong player from the old days. No longer with Team Liquid, though, which is kind of weird.
It is impressive he's still here. It kind of reminds me of the situation we have with DRG, where DRG is just good enough that he might as well play in Code S or Code A. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even when he's teamless, even when it seems like he's not active, he's still good enough. He's still got the muscle there.
Yeah.
To maybe win a fight or 2.
We're
going to go to an interview with our players and see what their thoughts are before we start our match here tonight in day 2 of the GSL Code S.
것 같다는 생각을 했어요. 왜냐면 그래도 요즘에 도옥이 잘하고 있지 않나? 기대 좀 괜찮지 않나? 뭐 그리고 한편으로는 경기하면 재밌겠다. 저는 3토스 주더라고요. 그래서 감사드려요. 프로토스 대 테라는 토스가 괜찮은 것 같은데 제가 저그 전에 좀 힘들어하고 있었는데 다행히 조에 저그가 없어서 조를 보고 좀 다행이라는 생각을 많이 했어요.
일단 저그전만 요즘에 많이 했었던 것 같은데 방송 경기에서 이번에 테란전이랑 토스전만 있어서 다를 시험할 수 있는 그런 경기가 잡힌 거라고 생각하고 재밌을 것 같습니다.
요즘 테란전이 프로토스가 괜찮으니까 도우기를 어떻게 좀 처음에 잘 이겨가지고 좀 쉽게 가고 싶어요.
저는 다 이길 수 있다고 생각은 해요.
아무래도 송현덕 선수가 지금 팀도 없으시고 연습 환경이 별로 안 좋은 걸로 아는데 그 선수는 무조건 이겨야 된다고 생각해요. 다 똑같이 저한테는 되게 어려운 상대인 것 같아서 뽑으라고 하면 그래도 상대 전적도 좀 앞서는 제 생각으로는 앞섰던 명식이는 그래도 후프전이니까 좀 희망이 있지 않을까.
솔직히 GSL은 항상 이만은 가오가 꼭 결승 무대 한번 밟아보고 싶다였어요. 이번 시즌은 한번 결승 무대 한번 꼭 밟아보고 싶어요.
저번 시즌에 4강에서 좀 안 좋은 경기력을 보여드렸는데 이번 시즌에는 또 꼭 좋은 경기력으로 결승까지 올라가 보고 싶어요.
목표는 당연히 이번 시즌 임하는 사람들 전부 다 그 생각을 할 거예요. 우승해서 불컨 가자. 저도 지금 그 생각으로 열심히 연습하고 있고
한 경기라도 한 경기 그냥 정말 열심히 해서 이기는 게
도발 같은 거는 좋아하지 않아서 그냥 재밌는 게임 했으면 좋겠어요.
명식이가 요즘에 되게 잘하던데 후전이니까 그래도 살살 해줬으면 좋겠고 같이 재밌는 경기 했으면 좋겠습니다.
형이 먼저 승자전 올라갈게.
대엽이 형은 요즘 너무 잘해가지고 그 형이 왜 4티어로 저를 만나는지 정말 브레인인 것 같아요. 대엽이 형 스타리그 많이 응원할게요.
You know, I gotta say, that was, I think, one of the most grounded interviews with a series of players we've ever seen.
Yeah, it pretty much was.
Thanks for coming down to the studio, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's games. Lots of PvP. But, you know, some of the interviews we have, some players say something that's like a little bit out of whack, or they're cocky, or they're being like way too modest. And I gotta think, okay, well, you're just, trying to be polite here. But I thought all four of those guys, I mean, obviously Stats is kind of the big favorite here today. Yeah. Especially just because of his recent results. Wasn't too confident with himself, but was pretty realistic. I thought Hero and Myunchik were very realistic about kind of being wedged in the middle here, and Hero, saying that it's going to be a very difficult group for him. Yeah. And he's going to take it one game at a time, and he hopes he can perform well today.
Yeah, they're definitely being realistic about that. If you had to rank this, who's going to get out first, who's going to get out second?
I think Stats gets out first, and then I'm totally 50-50 on either Hero or Myunchik.
Yeah, that feels about right.
Myunchik's pretty good, so I wouldn't be surprised. But here, if you can get him into like a pretty stable position in the game, he's solid.
Yeah,
he's very, very good.
Here's one of the best Terrans in the world right now for sure. He's still like kind of overshadowed a little bit. And I'm kind of interested because, yeah, like Protoss absolutely can do very well against Terran, but Terran is evolving right now against Protoss. There's a lot more all-ins happening. There's a lot of crazy, like, one-base and two-base play.
And, that's something that could definitely favor, Cure in this position if he's able to adapt and play this kind of new Terran style we've seen for about the past 2 weeks, maybe 1.5 weeks.
Yeah.
In major televised matches. A lot of these one-base aggressive builds against Protoss to kind of force them back into just teching along with you.
Yeah.
And it does seem like if it's one base with teching, if Terran has that proper unit setup, Cyclones included in that, but also medevacs, tanks, liberators.
Yeah.
It seems like Terran might even be a little bit stronger, so we may see this matchup change entirely. Now, let's also keep in mind, Cure only has Protosses today.
That's right.
That is one interesting advantage about preparing for a group like this.
Yeah.
He just needs to get good at PvP.
Yeah. One thing I'm worried about for him, what if he has to go to that third match? There's so many of his TVPs out there.
Yeah.
That you can kind of be like, okay, he's cheesing. Well, let me do like a one-base tech build against this or something. But
I mean, well, yeah, we're going to have to see. It's going to be interesting. I feel like it's probably toughest on, in this case, Myunchik, because he's got to be good at PvP and he has to be able to survive at PvT. And he's not the favorite guy in the group. So that's what I'm thinking, at least right now. Anyways, we're going to be going to game number 1, Cure versus Stats on the map Frozen Temple.
Okay, Frozen Temple. This is like really going to set the pace for how Cure wants to play this. This is the two-player small two-player map that they're going to be playing on, like this is definitely a very good one to do some of these one-base all-ins on.
This is going to be a very good yardstick for how Kier's TVP is looking here. Because if he does well against stats, then certainly he could take on either Hero or Myunchik.
Certainly,
if he gets wrecked, I guess we got to then reevaluate it in the next match after that.
One thing a little bit tough for him, though, and this is why I'm a little bit afraid of him going up against Myunchik, is Myunchik plays such a different style. Like, Myunchik can play like a very mean PVT, a very different
PVT. A very
PVT.
Down and dirty PVT.
Like, yeah, Stats is probably just going to look like Zest, like a 94% Zest player or something like that, whereas Myunchik will just be something completely different.
Yeah, well, Myunchik's definitely got his own way of playing it, and he's kind of known as one of those guys that likes to proxy a lot, likes to rush a lot. He's good with the timings. It'll be interesting. Anyways, guys, we're ready. This is game number 1, Pure versus Stats here in day number 2. Our first match in the GSL Codex. In the blue, our Terran player, the only one in tonight's group.
Jin Air Green Wings, Cure.
Such round glasses.
It's the Harry Potter look. In the bottom right, in the red, our Protoss player, probably the favorite for tonight.
KT Rolster, Stats.
Wasn't it like Pythagoras or something was forced to make Kier's glasses or the king would kill him?
Who was that? Who was the guy that had to draw this circle
It could have been
perfectly?
like, it was one of those old-timey math dudes. Excellent. These guys watch their StarCraft. They know what's up.
They know the etiquette. We got to hide our faces. We're on camera. All right. Well, right off the bat here, we do see that Stats is going for a Nexus here. Now, what is Terran going to do exactly? Because we've seen this trending, and if you guys have been missing out on some of the StarCraft in the past week or so here, Terrans have been doing a lot of one-base 1-1-1s here. Does Terran have gas? Our screen's pretty tiny.
He does have a gas,
he just got one
he's
gas.
gearing up for his command center.
Okay,
so
well, we're not going to see it from Cure this game, but we have seen a lot of Terrans go for one-base timings.
He almost just really snuck around with that.
That would have been very interesting, and he managed to hide that there. But it doesn't look like Terran's going to do that this time. This may play into Stats' favor, at least with how we're seeing Protoss is able to handle Terrans early on.
Yeah, like the standard like kind of gateway style of Protoss. If Terran doesn't do any shenanigans, it's like such a strong opener overall. You know, you get your blink out quickly, you get multiple techs, 3 bases, you get some pressure going, good upgrades. Like Zest kind of mapped it all out against very standard Terran play. We'll see if that's what Cure is going to go for here, though.
Yeah, Cure also, you got to keep in mind, he is on Jin Air. He's teammates with people like Maro. He may actually be perfectly comfortable even against a player like of Stats' caliber. He may be completely fine just playing a solid macro game, trying to outmaneuver the Protoss, trying to get into the right fights where he picks off the right units and kind of deconstructs the sophistication that Protoss had in their army they were building up to. So Cure may, in fact, be fine. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it's you know, he's such a strong player that he is someone that can fight against that normal style of Protoss. There are some Terrans that absolutely can do that, and I would put him amongst them. And that looks to be what Stats is going for as well. You know, he's got his Robo, he's got his Twilight on the way. This is just your bread and butter PVT at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, and actually did deny that. The Adept Shade ping-ponged off that for a second. But yeah, let's go ahead and see. Clearly, they're not going to try to harm each other at all early on here. Both playing very conservatively.
Yeah, and we have a siege tank on the way. So this is a very telling, important part of this game for Cure. And this is going to be something that Stats wants to scout right away. Because if this is a Marine tank evac-based push, that can do very well against these types of openings where you're going very gateway heavy, a lot of stalkers, a lot of adepts. Those don't really fare well against siege tanks that don't die.
Yeah, that's very true, especially if they control that siege tank very well. And looks like this SCV is actually going to get in here. This is actually a nice scout. Probe going to come in here, try to intercept and do a little bit of damage. And he'll actually be able to loop over here to the right, it looks like. Actually getting a good amount of scouting done. That was actually incredibly fortunate there for Cure.
That is a 100% complete scout. Like, he doesn't even have to worry about DTs from that one. So, fantastically done. But look, this push is coming, and this push is designed to most likely just cancel the third base, which I believe it will end up doing. Like, we don't have many units. Look at this tiny unit count that he has. With a tank evac, this many Marines, a Liberator on the way.
You know what? If you look at it, and I know the Legacy of the Void isn't that old, but historically, Terrans initially were always going for drops right away, and that forced Protosses to start making Stalkers, right? So they could try to eat the drop, but instead, what he wants to do is actually just push her. So this is actually kind of like a modified version of that 1-1-1 we're seeing.
Yeah.
It's Legacy, so you can get another base pretty quickly here.
And look at that tank drop, by the way. He dropped it exactly on the edge of outside the pylon range. Perfectly done by Kier. This is the new meta that I've been talking about a lot as well, and we've been talking about on the show, Tasteless, where like Terrans are doing a lot of moves like this, and when you go for these Stalker-based openings with a quick third base, you're really kind of at their mercy. What is he supposed to do right here? You can't really engage into this.
Yeah, and here's where it gets even scarier. The Liberator starts to come in, and with bunkers, and you know, it's actually so strange to me to cast this. This was actually how Terran was played before Brood War in vanilla. This is actually what people did, is they made bunkers outside your base, and they started to push. And I guess 18 years later, that's now back in the StarCraft meta in a different iteration of the game. But yeah, this is actually working pretty effectively. Now, what Protoss wants to do and what they used to do against us is try to surround it and hit it from all sides. Let's see if he can do that as effectively here. Now he's microing the tank around. The tank, it's very important the tank is actually picked up, because the tank can actually cover everything. Going for the medevac.
Now the bunkers are full though and push the Stalkers back for now, but this was pretty effective overall by stats so far for busting it. Like, this attack isn't going to do any more damage for now, but let's not forget, he hasn't really been mining from his third base. He had to make a bunch of units. He doesn't have any upgrades going. The one thing he does have is a Warp Prism on the way, so he can go for a counter here.
Yeah, and the counter may be the best bet, actually, especially consider Terran did lose a lot of Marines. The medevac, the tanks, they're going to have half of what they had back at home. But Terran already set up in a good position with Marines over here, some of them in the main. He's got the depot wall up and running. Interesting, though, to see Kier. He's, again, Terrans, this is what they're doing against Protoss now, guys, because Stalkers are so brittle in small numbers against that early on. They really have to wait, and they end up taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, Tasteless, I got to say, like, I really like the build order that Kier chose, but like I was saying at the beginning, it looked like something to me that was designed to take out the third base, and he didn't do that. Instead, he was like going for a kill move, and I feel like that's that's a great blink in.
That might actually,
like, he might win from here. It's
there's another Liberator coming over here, but all he has to do is blink on top of that. He's taking out the tanks now. I think he's gonna have another blink cooldown to actually go on the next tank in a second. And there it is, and that, I think, is actually game. With a Warp Prism here, I'm not sure that you're ever going to be okay. That's it. GG. Nice counterattack there by Stats. You know, what you were saying, Artosis, was pretty interesting, because even if he was going to eventually push the second, I think you have to go force the cancel on the
when you force, and the thing is, it would have been a kill, a straight up kill on a Nexus. And the thing is, like, when you go for an actual kill move with that, first off, they already have the Nexus out there, so they're warping in units. He stopped the reinforcements. Right. Like, I feel like there was a lot wrong with how Kier did that. Like, to think he's just going to kill Stats. Like, Stats is top 5 Protoss in the world right now, one of the top players in the world right now, probably going to BlizzCon. And he tried to kill him like he was just a ladder scrub. And, like, I really would have, like, I think if he kills the third Nexus there before he... Thing is, he wanted to get the bunker set up. I understand that.
Let's go back a second, though, because you know what I would have liked to see even more than that?
Yeah?
Was he do that off of a one-base push like Morrow did in Pro League.
Yeah, that's a strong way to do it.
Because guess what? Then they don't even have the third up. They have less energy to use pylon cannons. They have less Stalkers. And a lot of times you kill off that base and get your base set up before them.
Yeah, if you're going to kill them, you can try it off one base, right?
Why not just do it one? It's a stronger, more potent version of that. Because in that game, he got the Stalkers behind the bunkers.
Yeah.
Like, so he could cut off the reinforcements. If you try to do that, I believe, as far as my current understanding of the situation for Protoss in that position, if you turned into one base push, you don't have enough Stalkers to even go behind.
Yeah, that's right. You don't have blink done. You don't have enough Stalkers to go behind. You have basically nothing.
This is game number 2. Stats with a 1-0 lead in this best of 3. Let's see what happens on the map. Dusk Towers. In the bottom right, in the blue, he is
Jyn Air Green Wings. Cure.
And in the upper left, in the red, our Protoss player winning game number 1.
KT Rolster. Stats.
All right. But yeah, like, not getting the thing is, with a build like that, you're making so many units early on. You don't have much production facilities.
Thanks for coming down, guys. We love you guys. Enjoy this PVT, because it's going to be nothing but PvPs from here on out. So
well, definitely. You know, I think actually we're going to have 3 TVPs tonight and 2 PvPs.
You might be right about that.
Yeah, because I think Stats might take out Cure, and then I think Cure will probably beat Hero, and then it'll be, you know, could be a lot of watching what Cure has planned, but he needs, like, I don't know. He just had like, once that was killed, once that initial push was killed, it's like, well, you don't have any production, and I have 3 bases, so it's, you know, that's pretty good.
You know, in that last game too, when you do that push, so this is something Terrans have always had to try to figure out, is like, okay, when do I give up on my push and run away? Because the answer is not always to just keep pushing, guys. The answer is not always to set up and then once you've destroyed this to keep, you know, crawling into their base. Sometimes it is, but the problem is that generally Protoss is, it's always been like this with StarCraft, can get enough to stop one of these like little hard contains you have outside their base. So the problem is he loses the tank, he loses the medevac, he loses the Liberator. Those are essential units, all 3 of those, for holding off the next counterattack.
12-ish plus Marines over there too. That was a huge chunk of his army.
And then of course he spent the money on the bunkers, which means that's money that he's not going to get back. He didn't salvage him in time. So he almost spent as much as the price of the Nexus. It doesn't always math out exactly like that, but that's something to kind of think about, right? How much did you invest in that attack? Because I think if Terran could have gotten away, it might have been a different game.
Yeah, like if a lot of things could have gone differently there for Cure, but you know, this game he is really mixing up quite a bit. Looks like he's going into a 2nd Rax and then a 3rd command center off this Reaper expand. So really getting his economy rolling here. This is actually a build that Maru likes to do on this map, and we've seen him do on this map recently. So definitely you see some of that rubbing off on his teammate Cure.
So it's interesting on this map because we can have the longest games possible on this. Now, will we have it with these 2 guys? Maybe not. It could be difficult to say. Sometimes we see people, you know, they start out looking like they want to play a very defensive game, and then they you know, see a weakness and they go in there and attack. But this could be, well, hold up. More Prism coming out here. So
DT drop, perhaps?
I think so. Let's see. It looks like the probe over there is going to make that. There it is. Now, this also still means Stats might not try to end the game right away. He might just DT drop and keep expanding and try to get a bigger lead.
Yeah, and DT drop, like, I mean, it really matters when you offload the DTs, if they have scans or not, and of course, if they see it. If a scan goes off, he's going to be in good shape. Of course, with 3 command centers, you'll have more scans to try to use.
That's right.
His economy is going to be really strong. He's going to want some missile turrets anyways, so this could work out for Cure.
Let's see if the, looks like the War Prism's not going to be spotted moving across the map. The Reaper comes out here and just pokes in to see if there's anything else worth spotting. And right now it does look like Protoss is on 2 bases. This might be enough to tell Cure to be ready for something like this coming at him.
This is a good point, Tasteless, because right now is when that 3rd command center, or that Nexus, 3rd Nexus would be going up with a regular play, and his Reaper just checked that. That's why the Reaper went right then. So he has to know there's something going on.
And you could see, and I think it's too tempting for Protoss to drop in the back here, because if the Terran isn't in position, it's like the rewards are too great. So Cure making a little bit of a gamble here. He's going to assume that the drop's going to come back here, and that's why he has those Marines. Not at the edge where they could shoot it and chase it off, but he wants that War Prism to fly in there, and then he wants to get under it and gun it down and get a kill on that. Now, Stats is like, has he not made DTs?
No, he has them now.
Okay,
Looks like he's made just 2 so far. Oh, no, he's making, just 2, I guess. 1 going up to the front. Now, the eBay is on the way. It's a little bit later, but does he have some scans? I'm not sure how much energy he actually has at the moment.
Okay, well, I don't see any scans yet. All right, he lets it get very close and then scans it down.
Ooh.
But he picks it up. Now, again, this is a big game of cat and mouse. You just want to try to stay outside of the scan range. And every time they scan, they're not able to land a mule. Okay, unfortunately, you don't want to lose the DTs in this process. But, you know, with a Terran on 3 command centers where they can scan for this usually doesn't last as long as Protoss would want it to.
Yeah. I would say that the DT drop was, like, okay here. He's forced a bunch of turrets. He got some decent kills on SCVs. In fact, he's going to end up getting that reactor as well? That reactor kill is pretty good.
Yeah, he got it. Yeah. And he kept those 2 alive. Now, okay, he needs to get 1 DT underneath that so it can't land. Oh, never mind. Good scan there. Now, when we look at that, Oh my God.
Ooh.
Oh, we even saw Stats jerk in his chair. He just had suddenly glanced over and realized he lost that. You got to be careful when you lose that, because sometimes the Terran can then just counterattack you.
Yeah.
Because the DTs are not cheap, man.
No, they aren't.
That's one of the dangerous things about him is, like, if they get spotted and you just kill it, you've wasted so much money.
Yeah. And look, at this moment, there's like 0% chance that there's another Prism on the map, right? You already know what Protoss is doing at home. He's probably getting some upgrades, getting some a third base, of course. And so this could be a very powerful attack, but you have to bank a bunch of scans, too.
Yeah, that's true. They can make a few DTs.
That can be a little bit of a tightrope walk, right? Like, Protoss might not even try to make DTs, assuming you're going to have the scans.
He has a lot of options here. He can try to stim at the front. He can pick up and go in the main. There's a lot of locations he can hit. So this is going to be tough for Stats. Definitely the guy is wishing he still had that War Prism alive.
Yeah, that would at least make him a little bit scared. Drop even a couple of depths off, and suddenly, there has to be units on. But here we go. Kira going up into the natural here. Pretty strong force at the moment.
Protoss is just starting to inch out here to see if he can't do any extra damage to that. I thought Kira was going to be maybe trying to drop here. It looks like he wants to play a very safe game, probably realizing after his last game, he did lose some of his army and then just ended up losing the game. And Stats actually was just very, very conservative play. Stats is just staying back.
Yeah.
This is the right thing to do after losing that War Prism, by the way.
Yeah, and it's really good for the map as well. He's going into the second Robo. Looks like he's probably going to go into Colossus Tech, which is really strong right now, and even has that additional Prism out to go counter-harass with. So as long as he stays tightly on these three bases, the fact that he's going up into Colossus Tech while getting 2-2 means that there's really no way that he's going to die right now to Kier. The game is going to go long.
Yeah, and that's all, that's all par for the course on a map like this. So Protoss takes the fourth base. We're still going to wait and see when does Kira move out exactly. Now he's made his second Warp Prism, and this is going to be used to try to pin the Terran. Now he's got a depths in here, less valuable than the DTs, and also with the range ability, they can actually try to shoot down. Well, hold on. Is he going to lose that? We don't know what the HP on that is, but
pretty sure that Prism should be going down there. We'll be able to get the Adepts out. But
now here comes a big-ass drop.
Yeah, that's a scary one. Does he actually yeah, he has an observer sitting there. Okay,
but that might not be enough just because this is like, when you got 4 medevacs, even if you
you're
see
out of position, man. Oh, look at that.
Oh, man.
Grossly out of position.
Okay, but he's not going to go to that base. He's going to drop right over here.
Okay, well, this has drawn the army down. Now he gets to just go to that back natural. Very smart move. A little attack up at the fourth base does nothing right there. And even Widow Mines in here. This is really gross and hard to clean up.
Yeah, very nicely done. He's gunning down the rest of this. Starting to kill up a lot of probes. 10 probes killed already.
Well, it looks like he is going to have to pick up right here. He does have a couple Widow Mines trying to get the Colossus out. Be a big snipe, but nice micro by Stats, pulling it back for the time being.
And he's going to take out the majority of that army over there.
One of the mines actually connects there as well, dealing a lot of damage to that army. And he makes, he didn't lose too much there. He's keeping Stats busy.
He's actually staying ahead in supply with Stats as well here. I mean, he killed those 10 workers, but he also just seems to have a bigger army. So this is interesting. He might actually be able to loop this little drop around and come out here where the Terran's, the Protoss' fourth base is, and just punish him there too. Because Protoss is going to be in an even more defensive posture after an attack like that. So this might be ripe for the pickings, man.
Yeah, if he can kill it, that is a huge deal. But 2-2 is about to finish. He's got 3 Colossi out already. I love the fact, by the way, he's making the Void Ray. This has been coming back a little bit right now. Definitely helps against those medevacs. But wow, the Liberator's perfectly sieged up here.
And the funny thing is, there's not a lot Protoss can do against the Liberators with Widow Mines underneath them. Oh my god, and he's dropping over here. Okay, but he's got to be careful. He doesn't want to overextend here.
Yeah, he's going to snap
that Void Ray you were
quickly.
talking about.
Yeah, that's a great deterrent. And that means that Kier gets to hit the fourth base now. He's a little bit slow on getting up there, but it looks like he will be able to pick it off, and that is a huge kill right now.
Now the question is, can he get out of here? You don't want to be trading his Terran.
Yeah, those Widow Mines are kind of like the problem. Okay, he splits those at the last thing. It does blink in to kill everything off.
Wow,
so he's going to erase this army very quickly.
Now, even though Stats had that fourth base denied, I mean, Stats actually has a pretty threatening army right now. Stats may be able to push across here and try to do some damage, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Again, Kira's had these great attacks, but the problem is after he wins the fight, Stats organizes himself in such a way that he can just leap on top of that army and kill everything with favorable trades. And look, Cure is now going to be back not on an even foot here against Stats. In fact, this command center is not even able to finish.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker there, too. He could have built that in his main base.
Yeah,
of course,
that
you're
was
moving
greedy.
that fast. You think you're going to be out in the map a lot longer, then that can be a good place to build it. You know, it takes less APM and stuff.
It's kind of funny, Artosis, because we got the Colossi here. There's so many depots and other stuff here.
Oh, man.
That there's going to be a lot of damage dished out here. Force field's now coming down. Stalkers blink in here to try to gun down these Vikings, and there's still 3 Colossi remaining.
And those force fields doing a lot of work right there, but eventually it looks like he is going to be able to get through here. The Marauders starting to target down some of these Colossi.
He's actually doing a pretty damn impressive amount of damage here with all this. And the other Adepts are coming. And looks like with this number of Marauders, though, he should be okay. You know, the Marauder can take a lot of damage, and then as long as something comes there to heal it, you're in pretty good shape. So this is like a real seesaw game, a real tug-of-war here, back and forth. Now, I guess the next question is, can Stats actually keep this Nexus?
Yeah, that's kind of tough. He lost all of his Colossi. You know, his 3-3 is only halfway done, so he's just making gateway units right now, trying to hold on.
This is
and
quite
with the Liberators coming up, I think he's going to lose the 4th again.
Yeah, this is quite a slugfest of a game here. Let's see, though. I mean, can Cure actually break this? Now, there's a lot of medevacs which make this pretty scary for Terran. Because the Terran player can heal this up so easily. Although I'm not sure they all have energy. That's another thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, they could be low. It looks like a few of them do have pretty high energy at the moment, but we have more Colossi popping out. That is really going to help out because he doesn't really have good anti-air here.
Cure might end up making the same mistake again. Okay, Cure does not. He backs. I was going to say, Cure's going to set up here, and then Stats is going to just get in a good position and blink on top and shade in and everything, and then kill it again. And then he's going to go back down there and kill the other command center, and then Protoss will overextend and go back across.
This is one of the funny things about Legacy of the Void. It's actually, like, you can do a lot of damage to your opponent and screw him up a bunch, but actually, like, dropping the hammer and killing someone in Legacy of the Void is very difficult.
Well, it's kind of funny because we don't normally, in a GSL Codex, cast a game that has this many back-and-forth fights.
Yeah.
You know? Normally, nobody's making mistakes, but these guys are both overestimating themselves a lot. At least it seems here that this is a good attack to get up here on the high ground. Oh, love the DT2.
Nice little poke. Ooh, yeah, that's cool. I like that a lot. That is so annoying to have to deal with. And, of course, you figure he's dropping a lot of mules at the moment. Doesn't do that much, but still, good move.
Okay, but he's going to send another DT. He can just keep doing this, too.
Yeah, this is handsome. In fact, that is acting as an observer at the moment. Just kind of.
I thought it was going to go to the natural.
Yeah, it seems like a good place, but does come in, and I don't know about this.
I don't know
he's
about
attacking
this angle
under liberation zones. Like he's got mostly adepts here. This is really scary.
I think that was a bit foolish there by Stats to try that move. Nice control, though. He needs those Stalkers to get those Liberators, like, immediately.
He's getting a lot of splash damage here, but overall it seems like Stats' army is not quite as strong. He's got, like, a lot of Adepts in here. Cure actually punching through at the moment, starting to land his Vikings as well. Is he going to be able to kill this army, though?
Yeah, he will. He's actually going to drive him back here. He's going to shoot down those. Okay, so
this is a crazy slugfest.
The scale tips again. He's going to actually go up here to kill this base. You know, they are going to run out of money in the rest of their bases, guys. So eventually, whoever is in the lead in this back-and-forth game needs to keep that because there's not going to be any more money to reclaim that 4th base if you lose it again and again and again. Let's see, though. I mean, Cure might actually be able to just do this. Are there any more Colossi here?
Oh, a couple overcharges really helping. No Colossi right now. He is making one.
There's no energy in the medevacs either.
Oh, yeah, that is very
not
important.
Healing.
Yeah, he pulls back the DT as well, by the way, and the scan is done, so we do see Cure turning around and running.
Oh, my God, it's happening again. Okay, so he's going to chase him all the way down again.
Look, he had one Stalker up there that has 6 kills right now that was harassing. That's a really, really smart move, too.
Now, is this going to be enough